Hey, and welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Ben in Kaohsiung.
I am Tim in Taichung. You guys are getting
And
fucking rained upon right now,
we
eh?
are getting rained again. Rained on hard, man. Catastrophic rain.
According to the things,
Catastrophic
that
rain.
main meteorologist in Taipei or whatever.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny. I don't know what catastrophic rains even mean. It was raining hard.
Yeah.
It rained
which
a
is
lot.
pretty normal in the subtropics and for the tropics for you.
Yeah. It rained a bit. Hey, dude, how you doing? Things good?
Yeah. Tuesday's usually kind of a rough day, but online it's actually better because the kids just have their cameras on and no mics,
Right.
so nobody talks.
We're island-wide online teaching this week.
Yeah, COVID finally hit us like we suspected.
Yep.
Yep. A little house cleaning before we get started.
Sure. Yeah. What are we talking about today?
We were talking about Campaign 3, Episode 24.
It is episode
Which
24.
Which is
called The
That's up to you.
Hellcatch
I
Valley.
have no idea. What's it called?
The Hellcatch Valley.
The Hellcatch Valley.
Yep.
That's what the
it's
valley's called?
Yep. The Hellcatch
for
Valley.
fun. Okay. I know I've
Yeah,
heard
man.
it before.
Cool
And we're talking about
spot.
Bulbasaur. Nope.
listen, like, we'll talk-
Babelsan.
Bassaris.
That's what I said.
Right. I'm getting. I mean, so spoilers. We're going to talk about everything. So if you're not caught up, now's your chance to leave.
Yep.
Right. Take
Spoilers,
off.
language. Yep. All things.
That's it. All things Critical Role. So yeah, I was getting. I just quick little jumping ahead or thing, whatever. But did you not get like a serious Mad Max vibe out of this entire episode? Just in the desert with the crawlers and the things that are happening, and I was like, this feels very Mad Max-ish. There are a lot of clockwork, a lot of steampunk-ish.
Huh. No, I didn't. But now that you mention it, I can see it because they're in the
Yeah.
airship and there's the big ass beast on the ground, underground.
Yep. It's
They're
all desert.
harpooning it and holding on to it.
Well, but even when they got to Bassaris, like everything's the welcoming party that comes out with Mad
Oh,
Max. I
yeah.
was just getting sort of Arabian Nights kind of Mad Max desert vibe, weird, and bunch of different things thrown in.
Yeah.
This is a cool campaign, man. Very
That
different.
fucking weird guy is actually known here. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
shit. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Morehouse or whatever the fuck they call him.
Graymore.
Graymore. Yeah.
Yep.
I got the name.
I got some things to say about that.
Okay.
So
We'll
yeah,
get there.
hey dude, let's just get right into it. You ready?
Yeah,
to go?
sure. Ready for some rollies?
I'm ready for some rollies.
Yeah, let's get some rollies going. Wait, hold on. I got to change something real quick.
I'll use it. Would you listen? Do you want me to use after last week's piss poor showing by you? Do you want me to switch to a D12? Because I've got my D12 here.
A
Do you want me to
D12?
switch to the D12?
If you go to D12, I'm going D10, motherfucker.
I was gonna say I'll do the first roll with a D12, and you do with a D20. I'll do a D12. We'll see. what
Okay, we'll
happens.
see how we go. All right.
I'm joking. I'm not gonna do that. Come on, tell me you got a nat 20.
I get a fucking nat 20.
Hey, right on. All right,
Goddamn time. If
There
you've been
you
here for the last
go.
2 episodes, Jason.
Starting the show off right.
I had
Give
3
her.
nat 1s in the last, and I
did.
did. My average was like 7.2 or something like that in the last episode. All right. Before the episode starts, before it charts? I sound like Matthew, don't I? Before it charts, hold on. Charts.
Rah, rah.
Dude, I must have watched that 50 plus times. It was there, like he's the one that doesn't have those moments.
No,
because he's
he
just
never
so
does.
fucking professional.
Yep.
And like just before it starts, he's sitting there like, and you can see them like as Travis. I'm gonna be jumping all around here for this one.
Sure.
This is before
Give
the
her.
episode. This is just an
This is the ad read.
advertisements.
Yeah, this is the copy read. Yeah.
And like he doesn't have these things, and he is, from what I gather, kind of sensitive about being professional. Like always the number one professional, but he's open about some shit. Like watching the Legend of Vox Machina, watching the response to it, and they just like zoom in on his face, and he's just sitting there just fucking crying, right?
Yep.
And then he just says like, well, yeah, like you just saw, I get emotional about this stuff. That like they didn't even really talk about it. It's like, yeah, that's fine. The Matt's sitting there and like he's like doing a character, and he goes like, "Arr." And then he goes like, no, okay, more confident. Here's the word. Arr. And then he's like, at this point, everybody's still silent. And then he's like, Aurora. and then it goes to everybody else, and they're like, Aurora? That's the word?
That was the one. That was the word that got him. Yeah.
That was the word that
Aurora.
got him at the end of the day. They were just sitting there just like, oh, fuck. This never happens.
It's the title of the fucking game. And he gets, like, it's not just a word. It's the most important word.
Yeah, well, it's the real title of every, yeah. I'm pretty sure that Travis and Marisha were looking at each other, like, you know, like CEO and the creative director, like, do we got to redo this? Because it's Matthew, you know? But when they pan back to Matthew and he's losing him, he's just cracking up. They're just like, oh, fuck, it happens to the best of us.
He can't believe the brain fart that just came out there.
Yeah, looking at scripts all day or whatever, or maybe he wasn't, you know, it just happens to people. It's happened to Taliesin. It's happened to Travis. The other ones, I don't think I've noticed one.
Yeah. Can't think of any off the top of my head, but yeah, man, absolutely. It was amazing.
Hilarious.
It was right off the hop, a broken mat.
Do you think that they, when they came back from the title sequence, do you think they were mocking him?
With... 100%. 100%.
Or would that be too brutal?
No. Nothing's off limit. No, 100% they were. They came back. Remember when they came back from out of the title sequence, and he was like he was laughing as so I'm sure they were throwing bombs at him. Guaranteed they were dropping.
It's like
bombs.
Saying Vecna's taint or whatever the fuck that was. With the dude, it took me way too long to remember or realize that what it reminded me of was the outtakes of Liar Liar. I had that shit on VHS and I watched it hundreds of times, and they're just like,
Jim Carrey's right up there with one of Jim Carrey's. Jim Carrey's one of his best, one of his absolute best.
It's so good. I had to stop watching it because it became too brutal. Because I was watching it too much, and I was watching Matthew, not realizing what was happening, and I'm picturing everybody just being like, whoa, this never happens.
This is gold. This is absolute gold. It doesn't happen.
Oh, I loved it so much.
I giggled a lot. It was quite good.
I laughed my shit off. Like bicycle rides, like trying not to turn into people, fucking losing my shit. But watching it was just
great. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm right there with you. Really enjoyed it.
It's fucking hilarious.
Then I'm just gonna throw my little my yes
not a counter
for that.
Yeah, there you go.
Not a counter. My yes end. I just want to say this Friday is EXU Calamity. I haven't been able to stop thinking about how good this is going to be. The Age of Arcanum. And listen, quick little thing on that. That's what I wanted to say. The cast, all the guys that are in EXU Calamity are all on Instagram all week. Each one of them is doing what they're doing 7 days of takeover of Instagram from the Crit Roll Instagram account. So each one, they started with Travis. He did the first day, and basically he went through his entire day on doing Instagram stories. I watched them all. Yesterday was Sam. I watched all of his. Today's was Marisha's. I was too busy. I didn't get a chance to, but as soon as we're done, I'm going to watch hers as well. So, and then tomorrow, I don't know. We'll find out who tomorrow is, but every cast member will took over the Critical Role, has taken over, will take over the Critical Role Instagram account and tell stories all day.
Are they going to get through everybody before
Friday?
Thursday? Before our Friday?
Whatever, before our Friday, yeah. Yep.
How does that math work out? Who was first and when?
Travis was Saturday.
Okay. Yeah,
Sunday was they're a day behind, right? Sunday was Sunday was Sam. Monday was Marisha. There's 6, 7. I don't know.
Count. Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sure okay. Yeah, that works. I thought you said Monday. I'm getting my days mixed up because they're on different days.
They're on a different day. They're a day behind us. That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that's all. I just think it's so cool, man. It's the Age of Arcanum, when gods walk the earth, and there's no divine gate, and the magic is untamed. Everybody is Merlin, and I'm so excited.
The gods are allowing people to make their own magic.
Yeah,
like that's where this patron idea came from, right? Yep. If I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
And then before the divine gate was made to keep the bad ones out, before the betrayers showed up, right?
Well, no, it is to keep the betrayers out. It's to keep
but also to keep the prime
prime deities.
prime deities out as well, just to keep them all separated. And
All
like,
of
we'll
them.
be fair.
They're all sort of banished from the prime material plane.
Yeah, let's make the
back to their
separation.
own planes and blah blah blah. Yes, they can't get through the divine gate.
Yeah.
But Aor, dude, Aor exists.
That's
Like
right.
it's gonna be there's automatons and shit gonna be wandering. I don't know. Like I'm so excited about it.
Oh man, the more excited I get about it, the more like I'm like 4 episodes.
Yeah, I know. Only
Just
4.
4.
I know.
You
It's
know?
okay.
But just like EXU, you know, they had their thing and then they came back with a little bit more in campaign 3. I mean, if something comes up in campaign 3 that fucking needs to talk about it, I guess they could have another episode or something.
Maybe.
But it's way in the past. I can't see them doing that, you know?
Yeah, it's weird because like
We got to retcon something. Let's have another episode.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty huge.
We'll find out like we know the result, right? We know that the calamity happens. The gods have a giant battle, and Alexandria basically gets nuked.
But we don't know any details.
We don't know any details. We don't know how they get there.
And those fucking dice are going to tell all those goddamn details. It's going to be so sick.
So excited about it. Speaking of dice telling stories, let's do some rollies.
Oh man, yeah. All right,
You
go
ready
on to the next one.
roll it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Ooh, that's a nice little 17.
I got a 12.
What'd you get?
12.
12. Man, okay, so I'm just gonna blast through mine, I guess, today. Then we're back to normal now. All right. Let's see. Most of my shit comes from the first hour or so in this thing. So I'm just gonna go down the list here.
Okay, go.
No, I'm gonna skip that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip that one too.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to this one because we touched on this one last time. I believe it was on stream that you were saying shit's about to pop off. Like we're getting to the stage where we've got backstories, we've got levels.
Yeah.
Things could happen now, like big things, like deaths. Like big story arcs, could be separations. And when I was watching this one, I felt it more than the last one. Because we're sitting there with this airship, and then like Imogen just learned how to fly in the last one just out of nowhere, which, tiny little side point, maybe a little ironic based on the first campaign when Vax didn't get his wings when he was falling.
Yes.
And then Laura's always there like,
this is
you got fucking wings?
And then she got her broom. It was all yeah.
That whole thing. Oh boy.
Did Jester never flew?
No, she never did.
No.
Good point.
Yeah.
She never flew in the entire fucking. Fly was cast on her maybe once or twice, wasn't it?
Perhaps. I feel like maybe it wasn't even. The only Ford had fly and Caleb had fly.
Caleb had fly?
Yeah, because remember he
I know they had
on the boats when they went to when they arranged the Mighty Nine arranged the peace treaty between the Empire and the Kryn. He flew over to Caleb used fly a few times.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and him and Not and had Featherfall.
Yeah. They use it all the time.
And so did fucking Caduceus, right?
Yep.
Eventually.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think you're right. Like this last episode seemed like I don't know, the dice and the RP seemed to work together really well. It felt like, again, I was watching a little animated series.
Yeah,
there were people with their certain things that they could do really well. Orem was up there. He was the first one to see what was going on, so he wasn't just like in the back, not being able to do anything.
Yeah,
it was
like I said,
fucking sick.
Like I said last week, this is where they're getting their feet, they're getting their sea legs, proverbial sea legs here. They're figuring shit out, and the campaign is starting to gain momentum and starting to really take off.
Yeah, so I agreed with you last week, but then this week I agree with you a hell of a lot more.
Starting to see it a bit more. Yeah,
like the way that they handled that big ass beast, the Dustra.
Dustra,
is that how you say it?
Monstrosity. That I don't know. I saw some fan art of it. It's mental. Like it's a big giant squiddy, with like little grasping hand things at the end of it and 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Weird idea. I don't know what all, I don't know what
one
any,
of which looked like or felt like a periscope kind of thing,
yeah,
you
there's
know,
a
which
little,
could just be a bestial thing, but
yep. No, it is a monstrosity of some kind. Odd.
homebrew.
Oh, definitely.
All
Definitely.
right.
That thing doesn't exist in any monster manual I've seen.
I don't know any monster manuals, you know.
Yeah. And most of them are, man. Like most of these little weird things, like this is all just who knows. Unless I'm wrong, unless I thought I looked it up, but I don't think there's a Dustra in. Uh, you remember what's his name? The Rumble Cusp bad dude, big bad. The what was the thing's name? Remember Rumble Cusp in Campaign 2? They go to
Rings
the
a bell.
volcano. The big
Oh,
bad lived in the volcano.
avocado.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Not
avocado.
avogadro.
What did they call him? They called him avocado. What was his actual name?
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck. Avocado and avogadro have both taken
done.
root.
Yeah. Anyway, that was also a homebrew, but based off of a real
Like abyssal
astral
creatures.
astral plane.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a real creature from the astral plane, and then he homebrewed the shit out of it to make it much different. I feel like this was the same. That Duster was the same, but I couldn't find anything about it. I didn't look that hard. Suppose I could look again.
You know what it kind of stepping on another point that I had here. It reminded me, somebody who's playing Elden Ring a lot these days. I'm coming up to endgame here. It reminded me of one of the trees, one of the something trees. It was a big ass enemy. It's like 100 feet long. It's just like
cool.
a thing that it's a tree, so I wouldn't imagine it would hunt very much, but in certain circumstances it would, right?
Sure.
And
Trees.
they also said that in the eye, the color that he chose, kind of like Bob Ross over here, you know, he's like, it's not this blue, it's cerulean blue,
Cerulean blue,
which is the color that they use for Elden Ring.
All right. Well,
for the blue potion.
he's playing Elden Ring, so
Yeah. So I think maybe he got a little influence from that, you know? Like this
Sure.
big ass beast that burrows in the ground and just comes up and
yeah. Well, there's definitely some Dune vibes going on with that. I was like, sandworm? Is it a sandworm? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I was waiting for some reference for that, but I don't think anybody really said anything. I'm getting a lot of, like I said, Mad Max Dune vibes out of this this part of the world. It's very cool.
yeah, it is nice. I'm not familiar with either of those things because, hey, I don't read or watch movies anymore.
Man, you should watch Dune. Dune was really good. I really liked it.
Apparently I should read the
I read
books,
the books.
too.
I read the books when I was a kid. Yeah, they're tough reads. Okay, I guess that's my turn. I want to talk about the the so when they're fighting the Dustra, the whole the whole Tremors vibe was weird. That there was this like it was very strange because it was a like I said, it was a monstrosity, but then they start communicating with it. But the caravan gets safe when it's on the rocks. And I was like, there's something really odd about this because they're communicating with this thing. It has language, or Imogen was communicating with it. FCG was communicating with it.
It was a trifecta thing.
It was a whole lot of that going on there.
She was like,
So
you can talk to it. Yeah.
FCG starts communicating with it, and it has language, and it's sort of like this bassy rumbling noise. So it has intelligence, and it's angry, and it's trying to find its offspring or its brood, whatever it called them. But it was flummoxed by the whole idea that it was put onto the caravan was. Remember when Matt described the caravan was up on these rocks, so completely safe from this thing. There was something very incongruent about the whole thing. Also, it came out of a random encounter, which was also really suspect. Because I'm like, wait a minute. So you rolled on a random encounter, and this thing just
Right, there was
shows
a
up.
1 and then a 3 or something, right?
I think she rolled a 4 or something like that. Yeah, a 3, maybe a 3. Yeah, but it was like this was a random encounter. No, there wasn't a whole lot random about it. It felt
I
like
forgot
it was
about that completely watching
Yeah.
through again.
Yeah.
Like that didn't seem random at all. I completely forgotten that was from a 1 and a whatever
Yes.
after on the D6.
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that because it's like I mean shit, man. I'm doing the same thing in my in my campaign that when they roll a random encounter and they hit, I already know what it's going to be. I've already got it pre-planned. It's going to be this, 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 or this, and I just whichever one of those 4
Right.
or 5 fit, that's the one I'm going to use. So it's random in that the dice decide whether it happens or not. But I already know what it's going to be. I'm not leaving it all up to chance.
No, yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
that would be irresponsible on your side.
Could be potentially.
You know, you'd be like, oh, this is gonna happen, but I have nothing prepared for it.
Yeah,
Like,
that book over there. Some of those random encounters are fucking potential TPK machines. Like 8 revenants show up. Like, that party can't handle 8 revenants. No way.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
murder. So yeah. Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to say something about that. The other quick little thing that I wanted to say, which was hilarious, as the Chetney and somebody else were shooting were shooting the harpoons at it, and Imogen and Laudna are flying and communicating with it, and FCG is communicating. What is Ashton doing? Rage punching the crystal. I just sat there in awe of that choice. What a wonderful, wonderful choice for a barbarian. I'm going to rage punch the crystal. And then they get the best part is that I remember Laura's like, no, don't do that. And he's like, really? If all it took was one of my punches, we'd be dead already. It's like, right, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If it just took somebody punching it that to knock it out of the air, you'd be fucking toast.
Yeah.
What a great thing. Loved
He's not
it.
super intelligent, but he
No.
understands,
Yeah.
you know, like if that could happen, then these things would not stand. Yeah. I love that. Like what, dosing magic into it. He's like, I'm going to rage punch it. And then Matthew's response, he's like, fucking punch a crystal, man.
Yeah, man, punch a crystal.
It's like, you know, that's all the fucking captain had to say. They were just like, put some magic into that to help us. And we're like, what does that mean? It's like, that's what he said. Go. And Ashton was the only one who stepped up.
Yep.
They're like, I'm going to rage and punch it. I don't know. I'm magical. Fuck. I loved that choice. I'm going to go ahead and cross that one off right there.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal yours, but that one made me laugh a lot.
I got plenty more here. Back to rollies?
Back to rollies.
All right, let's get some rollies.
Oh, I'm 0-2 here. Got to get one.
Ooh, you could beat this one.
Oh, no, I definitely beat this one.
Yeah.
I'll just hold that up there.
Oh, there we go. Dude, we're just going like fucking, we're min-maxing all day.
Natural 20. Okay,
That's one each.
That's one each. That's one each.
We're even.
I'm gonna go big on this one, and big as in, listen, when they pulled up into,
You know it's big when he says listen.
when they rock up to Bassaras, this big city on this plateau in the middle of the Hellcatch Valley, Matt was at his peak madness with the descriptions of this city.
Oh, it was so good, dude.
I had it in my mind's eye within 5 minutes of describing this shanty town. What did they call it? The southern dregs around like this big plateau with the wall around it, and then the shanty town all around it of, you know, all these little houses and hovels and all these things around there. You get the big walled city, 6 or 7, 6+ crooked smokestacks that sort of broken and crooked out of the city, smoke pouring and billowing out of them. You get the Eye of Sauron with the green glow in the middle of it, the Todic glow it's called.
Yeah.
Which suddenly shifted.
Wasn't touched on much.
No, which is fine. But this is my point. This is where everything shifted. Suddenly, Matt wasn't describing things anymore. Taliesin was. Through Ashton. This was what I noticed out of this is that this was the most a character, a PC, has been responsible for world building. Matt's got his city that nobody has been to except both Ashton and FCG have, but FCG was taking a back seat for this one. Ashton suddenly became the tour guide and was describing where everything was and what was happening and all the factions. And at one point, if you could see it, he was actually Taliesin was actually flipping through his.
Oh,
tablet.
was he? I didn't see that.
He was skimming through with his finger, skimming through pages and pages. He's like, I have a lot to read here. At one point, he actually says, I have a lot to read. Like, and I'm like, right. So
Shit.
Matt has like uploaded all of this in because he's from here. This is where Ashton grew up. And I realized like there's and then multiple points throughout the episode where this is probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right, the most that a PC has been responsible for building the city for the other, or building a location for the other ones. I started going through some of the other ones, like when Caleb, who grew in Mighty Nine, in Vox Machina, we never really saw this. It never really happened because they weren't very experienced D&D players at that point.
Yeah.
So they left it all of this world building in Matt's hand. It was all of his.
You saw a little bit when you went to the Ashari with Keyleth, and she was like, "Oh, and that's where I did this, and that's where I did this." But it was just kind of like very light RP.
It was very light,
where
and
she
that
was the
more
tour guide, but she didn't have a lot to say as a player.
Absolutely, that was, and that's what I'm sort of talking about. In campaign 2, Caleb goes when they go to Rexingtrum.
Caleb, one of the biggest fucking metropolises.
And it was, and partly a bit written into the backstory because he was a student then and wasn't really allowed to go out. And they did go to the bar that he went, the pub that he went to, the beer house that they went to, and they did the thing there, and they did some stuff. But it wasn't very. He didn't really like. There were points where he was like, "I'm sure there's a magic shop that we go to," and he's like, "Yeah, you know the one," and you go there. But Matt's still explaining it. Yeah. You have Veth in Felderwin, where Not the Brave was Veth / whatever. They do a couple of little things, but not very much.
It was still just a little bit of this and that. Yeah.
Jester and Nicodranus mostly at the chateau, the lavish chateau. And not a lot of stuff that happens when they go to the ball, when they do a bunch of stuff in all that. Jester's sort of not really responsible. Like Laura's not off the hook for a lot of the description and stuff. Yasha, nothing. Bo, very little except for her home in where was she from?
Camorta.
Camorta. A little bit for the family vineyard in the estate, but very, very little for the actual town. And Ford, we never went to Port Damali, so we have no idea
what any of that is. But yeah, they never.
Very, very briefly. So like those, I was going through all of the characters in my head. I'm like, no, and Caduceus, Molly, nothing because he didn't have a backstory. Caduceus,
who never got to it.
We got to the Grove. He was Caduceus. Taliesin was very much in control of that, but Caduceus never left the Grove.
Matt did everything for that.
Right. So like this was Taliesin and Ashton talking about the city of Bassaris and like, oh yeah, we could go here, we could go there. We should go to the Raha Den. We should go to the this caravanserai. That's a hard one for me to say. He's talking about Greymore House. That one took some digging. I didn't know what that meant. I forgot. Well, there are a whole bunch of different places that they talked about that Ashton was completely responsible for, vis-a-vis Taliesin having an iPad filled with lore. Very cool. Very cool.
It's fucking sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing similar would be when Caleb was describing his nascent tower.
Right.
Because he went for like, what, an hour and a half?
An entire half of an episode.
Yeah. And Matthew was just like, that's great. I get to sit back and watch a player create this part of the story.
I loved that episode, man. That was one of my favorite of campaign 2. It was just such a beautiful thank you from Liam to everybody he plays D&D with.
Yeah. And like what a better person to do it than, Liam, one of the most involved emotionally, etc.
Totally. Yeah, so that's all I want to say about that.
I guess I'll and with that's kind of something that Matthew, of course, didn't let slip by. Mm-hmm. They're in a fucking airship, like or air. What do they call it? Skyship.
Airship.
They call it Skyship, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like, for some reason, they're like, no, it's not an airship. That's Final Fantasy. This is a Skyship. Like, all right, whatever. When you're in a Skyship, you're gonna see details. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see a fucking city, right? Absolutely. You're not just gonna see like, oh, I walk in, you see these walls. Like, oh, hey, where's the next tavern? It's like, no, you see smoke piles, like the way they described it.
That's right.
So, anytime they travel on anything up in the sky. Like, I mean, Imogen now knows how to fly. Like, she can just zoom up in the air. I don't know how long it lasts, but how far she can
10
travel.
minutes.
Is it 10 minutes? That's well, 5 minutes up, 5 minutes down. Like,
Sure.
Or 7 minutes up, 2 minutes, 3 minutes down.
Well, yeah, technically it'd be feather fall yourself down or whatever, but yeah,
right.
And
yeah,
I mean,
she just fly
and she can
up
cast
and
them
just
multiple times too because of sorcerer points and stuff, spell slots and sorcerer points.
Yeah, if she can, and like she could really get some bird's eye views here.
Yes.
And Matthew, I'm sure he is well prepared for it. But that's certainly something, like. And,
you know what? You know what?
ahead.
You know what I didn't know? I thought. Sorry, this is just to add on a little something too from about the stuff. The caravanserai. Do you know that's a real thing?
The what?
Like that caravanserai. The idea of these. Did you catch that part of it? That the
caravan.
The caravanserai. Caravanserai is a. So he was saying like that's the inn that they stayed at. It's like a tent
Not
style
too
of a
podunk, but
thing.
not too good.
Right, it's right in the middle. Those are real things on Earth, in our world.
That's
They're
a word here.
It's a real. I googled it and I was like, whoa! I just wanted to see what it was like, and on Wikipedia or the Critical Role Wikidot or whatever the fuck it's called. It's a real thing. It's a thing that exists in our world. I had no idea it was a thing.
Caravanserai.
Caravanserai.
Huh,
They're in the Middle
word.
East, North Africa, Southern Europe, Mediterranean sort of a thing. They existed just outside of cities as a little place where caravans would come in.
Could Sarai.
And they would where the caravans would actually meet and discuss, share stories and discuss news and current events and bring all these things outside of the city.
Share some goods, perhaps.
Sure, all of those things. And they were actual permanent structures outside of a city exclusively built for
permanent
caravans.
structures.
Yeah.
Fuck, I know. No,
That was really
that's
neat.
a good catch. Jesus.
Yeah, I stumbled on it. It was I was like, whoa, wow, that's a real thing. So this was sort of like oh, this is that him bringing in people. I'm sure that remember when they talked about they wanted to bring people in to make sure that they get things right and that they don't create stereotypes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This struck me as one of those. This would be one of those consultant things where they got somebody to come in and say a thing.
Yeah, I'll bet that's where it came from, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's pretty fucking cool. Good catch. Jesus Christ, man.
Again, stumbled on it. Totally stumbled on it.
Good Lord.
I just wanted to know how to spell it. And I was like, oh, wait, that's a real thing?
Caravanserai. What? I'll probably never forget that word now. Adding on to that, yes, and
Go.
quick little note when they were talking about that green light.
Yeah.
It was like a spotlight that's going, and it targeted the ship when they first arrived. And then also when they all got off the ship and then like they noticed it was going up there and they were like, hey, look. Right before that, Matthew said, what did he say? And then that green spotlight thing or whatever came onto the ship.
Yeah.
And I immediately looked at Laura. Immediately. And she sat there and then somebody made a sound and I thought she was like, okay. Like she was allowed to respond to coming onto the ship.
Yep.
And then they said nothing about that. So I just kept watching Laura and like nothing happened. And then a moment later, Matthew was like, he said, for the fun of it, let's roll a deception check because they started pointing at it and be like, what is that? I've never seen that before from Fern and Imogen. And then they all rolled. And then Matthew said, that's an interesting spread. And then Laura.
Yep.
She went back to, she hasn't changed at all.
No.
Do you think that some producer or her husband, the CEO, has said, we got to tame down the innuendo?
Nah, I think they love it. I think they encourage it in some
I would think so
aspects.
too, but with those two instances right there, just back to back, of course she can't control herself.
Yes. Yeah. She's just giggling to herself. And
I feel like some of them are going under the radar.
Yeah. So
and with no Talks Machina anymore, we can't talk about it. Nobody's nobody's bringing it up.
I feel like there's she giggles at all of these things, but if nobody catches them, then she's just giggling to herself, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah,
I mean, how are they not picking up on it? They haven't changed. Come on.
I think they're so into the lore and they're so into this whole new thing, this new exploring new places and all of that they're. Do you notice like even Oh yeah, there's a guest in this episode. I guess we could talk about that too. Like when at
I'm a
one
big fan of
point,
Ishii.
yeah, when Erica shows up and she tells them her name, and she's like, "Oh, and you're all writing things down for some reason." Like they all are taking furious notes this campaign. They
Yeah.
all have mad notes. I think Sam's notes got referenced in this episode too as being, or maybe that was last episode where he's like, he's got his notes written off in sections and subtitles and stuff.
There's so much to learn, you know.
Yeah,
It's like
there's a lot.
when
There's
you
a
study the
lot.
science in the universe, you know, it's like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. Is that the quote? You know, so like they're in their third
The
campaign,
more
so they're
you
just
know.
like you learn a little bit, and then you're just like. So instead of one note taker, which is like, hey, are you going to be the note taker? First campaign, don't really know D&D.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and it doesn't help that Matt uses all the words when he describes things. So there's so much
Except
to
for
write down.
what is it?
Alola.
I think you nailed it. I think it was verbatim.
Oh man, too good, too good.
I think that was my
Rollies.
yes and. I think that was my yes and. Back
Let's
to
do
rollies,
rollies.
yeah. All right, let's
right.
do it.
1 and 2, 2, 1 and 2. Oh, not bad. 14.
Ooh, right next to the 20. I got an 8.
Ooh, and they're right on. Okay, I'm gonna throw out at the exactly this made me laugh. This was a moment that really made me laugh where Sam being his trolliest through FCG. I got a timestamp for this one too at the 2-hour mark. Exactly 2-hour mark.
Oh,
They're at the Salmagunda Strip at the Raha Den, Caravanserai.
What?
Salmagunda.
Salmagunda.
Yep, Salmagunda Strip.
Man, your notes, dude.
Dude, I told you I use subtitles. My notes are only as good as the
Right.
subtitles are. I literally press pause and I'm like, how the fuck did they spell that? And I write it down.
Oh, and the captions pauses. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
So Salmagunda. I that's why I get the names, because I get to see them how they want them to be seen.
Right.
One thing that I've noticed with the subtitles is that they I don't know if somebody at the in the company is responsible for their Twitch subtitles.
Yeah.
But clearly somebody is, and clearly they are asking Matt how to spell things.
Yeah, they
Because
mentioned
they're-
that in talks in campaign 2.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
when they finally got the CCs, because not every Twitch
Oh,
streamer
yeah,
has
I vaguely-
CCs.
I vaguely remember that. That's right.
But
So
they said
did
there's
talk
actually
about that.
somebody who has a list of things that when they're actually sitting there typing
Right,
it, they like,
right.
that's a D&D word or it's
Yes.
a Matt word, and they're just
I
like,
remember,
oh
you're
shit.
right. Bang on. So
Yeah.
that's how I get these things, because the Salmagunda Strip at the Raha Den. When
Salmagunda.
they bed down for the night. They're in their little tents. And
This is after Ishii's in, yeah?
No. This is
No,
way
this is
before
before.
that.
This is before the break.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is before the break. Orim suggests, this is what I got written down. Orim suggests keeping watch on the crystal orb. So he's like, we should sleep, but somebody should have the crystal orb that shows where Armin Trushy is.
That's
the
the
whole
little
reason they're
thing
here,
that-
right?
yeah,
It's got the little, it's the big crystal orb, and it has the little red dot in it that
Right.
moves around, showing
It's
which
red?
direction.
No, it's blue. What? It's
I think
red?
it's red. I think he said red.
Fuck.
Pretty
I
sure
thought it was
red dot.
cerulean.
Yeah, that's the eyeballs. So he says, Orm's like, yeah, we should keep watch on the crystal orb. Whoever stays up, as we keep watch, you keep an eye on it and see if the crystal orb or if the red dot moves. And then literally 1 minute later, Laudna gets up and goes, yeah, I have an idea. We'll draw the little compass on the
Oh,
ground, and then we can see exactly what direction he's going in. And Sam and FCG, Sam goes, oh, right. So then we can tell where he's moved. And he turns over, and this is really hard to pick up. I had to rewind it a couple of times. Laudna's like, we should draw a compass. Laudna's like, I get up, and in the sand, I draw a compass with north, east, south, west, and I put the orb in the middle. And Sam's like, oh, so you can see which direction he's moving in. And Laudna's like, yeah. And FCG turns and looks at Orem. Yeah, good job, Orem. Thanks a lot. That's a great idea. And Laudna, Marisha does this double take, and Sam's just like, just leans back in his chair and giggling away, like he just completely dismissed
What a cunt.
Laudna. It was beautiful, very very un-FCG like. It was all Sam
It's
trolling
Sam, totally.
her. It was 100%, and it was one of those
'Cause he doesn't
funny
know
moments.
who did
No,
it.
exactly.
He just knew
It
that
was,
Orm was first, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It was so.
Dude,
it
how are
was
you
such
catching this shit? Jesus.
such a great little moment because I saw it. Laudna hitched. She went, or Marisha hitched as I don't want to be no time for confrontation, or something like that. She's like, she just rambles on and carries on with the rest of the whole thing. It was just this one little quick moment that just one of those little tiny things that
Just Sam, dude.
Sam being the trolliest troll.
Man, I hate to repeat myself, but without Talks Machina being there, like you don't get their input on these things.
Yeah,
it's like it's
exactly.
a fairly random assortment of people
Totally.
having their
Totally.
responses to it.
Yep.
I miss it, man. I miss it. I mean, four-sided dive is fine, but it's not quite the same. Basically, it's Brian's not there. Fucking Foster. I love watching that guy.
I
that
pop
shit.
into his Twitch stream every now and then and check out what he's talking about and what he's commenting on. It's a good little Twitch stream. It comes up on, I forget, my phone tells me when he's online. I'll go listen in on what he's talking about. He's mostly doing like weird. It's very all over the place. Anyway,
I still haven't found him on Twitch yet. I haven't taken the time to do it. Yes, and to that. Here's one, I suppose. I'm running low on any kind of big ones. And after this one, I think they're all pretty small. Well, okay. I'll just say it. I'll ask you. How much do you believe that the caravan was innocent relative to the big Dustra beast?
the Dustra, whether they were or not.
Because the whole crew, they were like, we should go check if they've got the babies. You know. But Matthew, when he was talking about the mind connection, he was like, it seems like they're just lashing out.
Yeah.
But then after that, they still said, they
asked and they said, and then he's like, Matt even said, for the sake of brevity. And when Matt does that, there's nothing there.
Sam said, for the sake of brevity, because Matt couldn't figure out that word.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
For the sake of Matt or Sam was like,
we know when Matt does that, there's nothing there. There is no there.
Right.
So
that was more my point.
You get the feeling that these babies would be huge and they wouldn't be able to be hidden in the caravan. And I mean, my brain went to, unless they caught them and chopped them up into pieces and then stuffed them in the wagons or something like.
Right. And therein lies the question.
That sort of a thing. So,
because
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say probably because this was a random encounter, then probably not.
Yeah,
but
I'm with you too. The reason I bring up the question is I was pretty sure you were going to say basically the same thing I thought, because I forgot about the whole random encounter thing, but I completely forgot that was a roll of the dice, and it was a 1 as well, which doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for a random. And the way that he stated so much of the stuff, like it's lashing out. It doesn't seem like it's directed, And then with the caravan, when they said like, oh, we work on tips. So, whatever we could do. And you got like 7 copper, you got some wool or whatever. And then like another 2 apples, right?
Right.
And Matthew's just like, okay, it's nothing, and they're like, well, what about this? What about this? It's like, Matthew knows that he's burned them before.
Totally.
So many times. And this question was basically in the very small chance that you would say, you know what? I actually do think that they might have had something to do with it. Because I don't think that you would actually say that. This is just a reference to Matthew's got to be fucking clear if there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
But he can still portray him later.
You're right.
But I'm pretty sure I trust him 100%. I'm not saying 99 or 98. I trust him 100% with this one.
Yep.
That caravan is innocent.
Yeah.
There's something going on with the beast. Something influenced it. Sure, yeah. I'm assuming because they were like, oh, they're never hunting
carnivorous
or whatever.
They're never hunting. They even the Captain Zandis even said they're mostly herbivores. I think they're not carnivorous. They just. What did he say? I wrote it down.
I don't know if he meant to say carnivorous. I think he just meant to say hunting,
Yep.
But who knows,
They're normally not dangerous. They're not carnivorous. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not holding fast to that carnivorous term.
Yeah.
Because they're not hunters, They're not.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so yeah, and I'm holding Matt to that 100%. But however, it was certainly influenced. They had that cerulean eye, you know, and it had this the memories of the family being towed away, and then they're uncharacteristically pissed off. I'm sure it has something to do with the other shit that's going on. You all right?
Yeah, my dog's woofing at the door. Somebody must be walking outside.
Oh.
She's not woofing. She's just sniffing. She's like huffing at the door. Yeah, somebody's outside.
That sounds more like lazy.
Okay. Yeah. She's like,
she's not a big woofer.
No, she doesn't talk much at all.
I miss that girl. I got to come down and see her sometime soon, eh?
Oh yeah, somebody's somebody's at my door. Anyway,
you got a yes and to that one.
I think we're rollies now, right?
That's your yes and if you want to take it.
I thought I won that one.
Oh shit! Is that how it works?
I won.
Oh yeah, I yes ended that one. Okay,
right,
yeah,
you're
right. All right, let's get some rollies then.
Okay, yeah, somebody. I think my upstairs neighbor walked by with the dog. That's what she's getting all worked up about.
It's beatable.
What do you got? Oh, I got a 17.
Oh boy.
All right.
Somebody's fucking weighting their dice.
Please. I actually, this is one of the few dice that I have tested out. I got a new dice in Toronto. I haven't checked yet. You know the whole thing where you put them in super saturated salt water and then you spin them. They'll float in salt water. So you spin them you put them in a shot glass and you spin them and see what they turn up.
Should be random.
I've used this dice. This dice is completely random as far as I can tell.
And a little bit salty.
The new and delicious. This one's got to be said because I picked up mad vibes off this one. This is along the same vein what I was just talking about when they're sitting in the tent and their FCG does a little trolley thing with Laudna. 1, 2, 3 watches later, so the third watch. So 2 watches later, the third watch is between FCG and Chet.
Easy girl. She just walked. Oh, she's on the couch.
Oh, she's on the sofa.
Hey, girl. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. She's just such a sweetie.
Yeah, she is. So this conversation between FCG and Chetney tripped me out because a
FCG
bunch of things.
Okay.
Oh, a bunch of things happened about the bird. Right.
Right. When so Travis was clearly trying something.
It's a 5-minute convo. It starts at 2 hours 16 minutes and finishes at about 2:21:30
in real game time.
In real game time,
but in the game time, a little less.
In game time, it'd be even more. It would be more like an hour or so watch, right? Anyway, there's something. So
I guess it could go either way. Yeah, right.
Sure. You can. It's whatever.
Could be shorter, could be longer. Yeah,
it could be both. Yeah, you're right.
Could be pauses between. Yeah.
IRL
anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
IRL and in game is they can be two different things. Anyway, there's a bird. So this bird, this eagle or hawk comes to roost in above their thing, and it trips. FCG runs into the corner. He hides. He hides under a table and he freaks the fuck out, and he just stares at it until Chetney wakes up, and then Chetney comes in and looks at it for him, and he's like, is it the bird? And Chetney's like, the bird? What do you mean? And FCG is like, it's unrelenting. It's always overhead. And he's like, its name is shithead. Well, that's what I've named it because it always shits on my head.
Yeah.
All of this was a joke. All of this I started laughing at, and I was like, this is just another whatever. Except for a giant problem with that. Matt's poker face.
Oh, no.
Yeah, dude. So you know what I'm talking about.
I do. He's usually pretty good because he knows everybody's. Yep. He fucked up.
When Matt does this with his hands.
Well, don't spoil it for everybody.
He's got it's one of his tells. And also the fact that he didn't laugh at any of it. And everybody else at the table was laughing, and he had a completely straight face. His poker face. With his hand, and he's rubbing his fingers, on his other hand.
This is lore.
This is backstory. This is part of FCG's backstory, and there's something there. I don't know what it is because none of it made any fucking sense. There's a bird that's following.
That's happened before. I mean, there's been mention of birds before.
Yes, but this was like, remember he said this was not scrap. What was the word he used? The bird was like bedraggled, not bedraggled. It was like motley, not what it was a word that he used. It was all like a crusty bird that was all. I wish I had written that down. I forget. He used some word where it was like not a clean bird. It was all busted feathers and shit.
Mangy. Is that
mangy.
The word?
Thank you.
Is
mangy
that the word?
Bird. It was the word that he used. It was a mangy bird. And which doesn't make any sense actually now that I think about it, because mange is a thing that dogs and cats get. But anyway, whatever. Or mammals get mange, not birds.
See, I didn't know that. So,
but yeah, Matt's poker face threw everything away for me. I'm like, right, there's something there. This is backstory. This is lore. There is something there that is coming into play soon, and well, not soon, but it's coming into play at some point.
There's information
I have a
that's
feeling.
substantial.
I have a feeling it's about Dancer and about his. There's something going on with that bird that's always following them.
Now this is some speculation. Now
huge,
at this point,
huge. The whole thing is because it was all came off the cuff. But okay, when you look at it all in together, FCG's visceral reaction to a bird coming in to roost above them, he wheels away and hides under a table in terror,
fairly nonchalantly, because he didn't say anything to anybody.
No, because he was too scared. He waited for Chetney to relieve, or he waited for his watch, and he wakes up Chetney, and then he gets Chetney to go and check it out and go and look and make sure it's just a bird, not the bird.
He's not getting Ashton.
Yep.
Which is the person that he's most comfortable with. He's just getting Chetney because Chetney's the next person on watch. I don't know if they actually discussed that beforehand.
So, I've got a giant big asterisk beside this in my paper because I have a sneaky feeling that that's going to come into play later.
Yeah, I mean, it's been mentioned before that he doesn't like birds. I remember that was like one fucking fraction of a day that I turned on chat, and somebody said he wants to fly, and I thought that maybe when Imogen starts flying, he'd be like, he did mention something, but I was waiting for something. He didn't say it, so
nope. This is not the brave stuff. I don't like water. I don't want to go in the bath with you guys. And then it's like, no. Pony. Why don't you like water? I just don't like water. I don't like it. I don't want to go in. And it's that's how Veth dies, right? Like this is, what the fuck is this? This just, I don't like birds. Okay, now there's a bird following me named Shithead. Okay, well, what the fuck does any of that mean? Like, what is that? What the fuck is up with that?
I forgot. Yeah, I missed that game. Yeah. So, and also with Shithead, he's like, no, it's a hawk. And he's like, it's not a hawk.
It's not a hawk.
The number of times they went back and forth on that was fucking terrific.
Was so good. It was the dynamic between them was excellent.
As it is with fucking Travis and Sam. When they get together and fucking
chaos couch.
Just Talks reference. Bring back talks. Hashtag.
So and also the end result of it all was that Chetney is now a trusted companion. That was also a fun little thing that happened out of that.
I'm convinced that's the only reason that Travis was doing this.
Well, he even brought it up. He's like, so does that mean I'm a trusted companion now?
Just fuck it, have it. Like with a shared secret and a vow of protection. Is that what it was?
Totally. Yeah. That's it. That's
all
right.
That's yes, and to this very short point. You mentioned Toronto earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And you also might notice that I'm not from Canada. However, I do say Toronto. And there's also somebody on that airship that was named Toronto.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I'm like, nobody here is from Canada, but I bet Canadians across, the world, wherever they might be.
What is her name? There's the two deckhands. There's, shit, I wrote them. They're in my notes somewhere in last week's notes. I bet I could find them if I really looked.
Every time I heard the name Toronto, I was like, Toronto.
Toronto.
Like, I'll say Toronto.
Yeah, well, when I'm talking to even when I talk to people from other parts of Canada, I'll say Toronto because you have to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because if they're not
from Ontario, they call the rest of the country does call it Toronto.
Really? I haven't heard this. I guess I'm just talking to Torontons.
No, well, most of us, there's a lot of us from Ontario. Yeah, I'm not from Toronto, but
I've talked to people from BC,
most of my family is.
And they say Toronto.
Did they say Toronto? Yeah.
But maybe they're like me, where I say Toronto
Maybe.
too. You know, I'm
Right.
from Alaska. Like, I didn't say Toronto until I moved
What was,
here.
I wish I could find. I should find her name. The other. I guess I could just do a quick.
I don't think it's Toronto. I think
No,
it's
it's not.
Toronto.
It's but it's very similar.
Yeah,
It's something
enough for me to say
There's
Toronto.
one that starts
every time.
one that starts with a D, like Dorito or Dorito or something like that. I was
Too
gonna
many
say
names, dude. Too many
Dorian, but that's not
names.
right. I'm sure I've got it written down. City of Kings Fall. Nope. 23. There's the combat. Nope. Anyway, doesn't
Too many
matter.
names, dude. Like I told you, I'm starting from the first episode of Campaign 3. I'm actually watching Campaign 2 Just Talks Machina right now, which
Sure.
is pretty fucking interesting. Because I have to guess which episodes they're talking about because I know it so well. But it's interesting because you can't really do it the first campaign because they start in the middle of it. Second campaign,
right.
it's there the whole time. They even go to social distancing from home in the middle of the second, and in the third, it's absent. So it's a very unique thing for campaign 2 to just listen to talks and just listen to and it's enough information for me to remember which episodes are happening. It's pretty fun.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. You wanna do-
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna get to like 50 or so, and then I'm gonna go back and I'll start watching it. All right.
Fair enough.
I got a couple more points.
You want to
Couple
do?
more.
I was gonna say you want to do one more roll.
Yeah, let's do one more.
We're coming up on an hour here.
Well, we're only at the first half. There's still the second half of the episode to go, but
Well, I got like nothing on that, man.
yeah,
I've got
a bunch of-
responses to it.
I
But
told you it's combat. It's good. It was. I love that shit. But sure, let's do 2 more.
let's see how we do.
Okay, sure. Go.
All right.
Ooh, not bad. 16.
Ooh, 13.
Oh, I gotcha. All right. So I'm gonna just throw out. I was gonna talk about Chetney's gift of the little house, which made me fucking howl. I was laughing at that hard, but I'm gonna go right to after the break with that fucking map that Matt pulled out.
Oh God,
that was.
dude.
It
They
was
just get better and better, man.
Oh, it was so good. It was so beautiful, man. So this combat brought to you by D&D Beyond. The the whole combat where Erika Aishi comes in and they go to rescue her and she's an elf with a rapier. She's getting mugged. And I was so excited. I thought she was going to be a blade singer. I thought we might get to see our first blade singer in the. But
Is that a class?
It's a class. Yeah, it's a bardic archetype blade singer. They're really fucking cool. They're like the swashbucklerists of the swashbucklers. They sing their songs. Okay. The blades dance. The blades, their sword attacks by. They have all these fucking really sick abilities that are.
Was that Matthew's response to like Myth Carver for Scanlan because he was not a blade singer?
Yeah, it's kind of. But Myth Carver would have been the perfect sword for a blade singer. Yeah. Very much so. The iconic singing sword sort of blade, a bard of valor at the front of the lines. It's just, so cool. But anyway, it turns out she's a warlock, another warlock. This whole, I just want to talk just briefly about the combat because I thought the combat was really fun for Matt. He got to really play. He rolled really high dice. The bad guys all died, but they rolled really high, which was really fun.
There was a lot going on in there too.
A ton going on.
Like Orem's first response was, "Hey y'all," and then
and then go. The one little thing that I want to talk about again is that after that combat with the Skur hunter, what were those things called? The Skyreth hunters, Skurath hunters on the deck of the airship. With Ashton, with his teleporting. Did you ever go back and watch that, by the way?
Where?
With Ashton's teleporting thing, the space.
Oh, I did. Yeah. It's right after the break.
Yeah.
Right after the break.
It's very cool, right?
Like both those things that you mentioned in the last episode, right after the break. Yeah.
Right. Did you notice that this episode, with that combat, how Matt neutralized Ashton hard with Phantasmal Killer? Just had
Phantasmal Killer. No, I mean he rolled time for his. Wait, that was on the ship.
No, that was on. He rolled space for the ship.
He rolled space for the ship. That's right.
He didn't get a chance to do much in this episode because he was getting smashed by his own Shadow, the illusionist.
What's going on here?
The illusionist of the bad guys, the group, cast Phantasmal Killer. Again, a wisdom saving throw spell attack on a barbarian almost always works because they have terrible wisdom saving throws.
Right.
Traditionally, Grog did, Yasha did. That's why she got mind controlled all the time, and now Ashton also does. So he cast Phantasmal Killer on.
He's also missing some of his brain.
Right, yeah, that too. But like the Phantasmal Killer is a fucking evil spell, man.
What's going on with that? Can you explain a little bit?
It's a 4th level, I think, 4th or 5th level. It's a really high level spell.
Yeah, fuck. What level are these fuckers at?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, these fuckers are fighting.
It pulls out your worst nightmare, and then it starts doing massive amounts of psychic damage.
There's Phantasmal Force, and there's Phantasmal Killer.
Phantasmal Force is just like 1d6. This is like, just I think Phantasmal Killer, I think he said it's 4d10.
Holy shit.
Psychic damage, which barbarians are not, they can't block out. Psychic damage is, again, so wisdom save and psychic damage are the two Achilles heels for barbarians, and Matt just locked him down. And it brings me back to that episode, like way in the beginning, when Taliesin kept rolling super high hit point rolls as they were leveling up. Yeah. And Matt's like, just offhand comment, I'm just gonna have to find new ways to take you out.
Yep, and that's the one I was gonna say it.
We're seeing them. We're seeing them all over the place.
There are ways to neutralize that shit.
Yep.
And he's knowledgeable enough, man.
Yep. Well, it's the cautionary tales for players getting cocky towards their DM.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not Taliesin. Taliesin doesn't get cocky. He's like the least cocky person. Yeah. Yeah, I guess yes and to that if it's
Giver. That's all I want to talk about. Just that there's a lot of stuff happened in that combat that was one of them.
I don't remember a ton that happened after the combat because as far as I remember, and I could be wrong, I've only seen it the one time. That's the problem with, I've seen the first campaign 3 times, seen the second campaign 2 times, 2.5 times, the third campain 1-ish. Did much happen after that? Because what I'm thinking is when they were on their way to this place and then they heard that, like help or whatever from the smoky voice.
Yeah, they just basically
they were being followed by something.
Yeah,
maybe it was nothing, but we don't know what's going on there yet, right?
Nope, we do not. Never got resolved. I thought it was going to be Erica. That was the whole thing, but it definitely wasn't. No, we didn't get that. Was ever resolved.
So that should be. I would hope it would be coming up, or if it doesn't come up, that just means that you're in a city where people would follow you.
Just following you,
but it's rooftops,
checking things out. Yeah.
And then in this combat, 2 people went to rooftops.
Erica did because she cast Thunderstep. She had Thunderstep. Yep.
And then another person did with Misty Step, didn't they? One of the enemies.
No, they. I think it was just the one. I think it was just Erica that just went up there.
There was only one person on the roof.
I think so. It was just she did Thunderstep up.
Okay, maybe I probably got that fucked up in my head. So okay, so that follower is still in the works, or they might just be out of the works because they had a combat.
At the end of this episode, they didn't really do much except for Fern going into that tent and getting high as fuck.
Right.
Which made me laugh. I was like, oh Jesus. And
it was also like right before the break that Ishii got brought in, so they're probably just like, oh, character, let's talk to you, and then episode's over.
That's right. That whole drug scene really made me laugh. What a wonderful way for Matt to handle it is that, no, you're high as fuck. You're high, but you've seen some weird shit in the Feywild, so it's all good. You don't let this phase you. You just carry on with it as your day, walking around. So I'm just imagining her wandering around tripping balls all the time, and this is just her reality. That's all life is for her, is just everything.
She's constantly microdosing on LSD, psilocybins.
Love the idea.
I mean, the way she plays her character totally matches for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a couple more things I could say, but I think the combat was great. You know what? I love this shit. Can I throw a couple of little quick ones out?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and throw a quick one out. I got one real quick. I don't know if it's a quick one or not. I got one more. Let's go ahead and do one more.
Okay, rollies. Let's go.
Let's roll for it. Okay, cool.
Sure, go for it.
Let's roll for one more, and then
last rollies.
You're beating this. I got
another 16. 4. That's my second, maybe third 16, or second or third.
Jesus
16.
Christ, man.
Okay, I got a funny one here. This one really I thought was cool, and Orem referenced two names. Don't remember who those names were. I didn't write them down because I was like, I've heard them before. I don't know who they are. But
Back
anyway,
in Estros days?
at the end of nope, at the end, this is from Mashari stuff.
Okay.
He says, this is near the end of the combat. Orem sees the writing on the wall for this one, and he druid crafts moss into the unconscious guy's wound, makes a 19 medicine check, which stabilizes the bad guy. I thought that was such a cool fucking thing to do.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Druid craft moss, because that's a thing that's a cantrip. But here's the thing: it's a cantrip, so you craft some moss, and then you stuff it into the unconscious guy's wound, and that stabilizes the unconscious guy, so he's not making death saves anymore.
Well, the 19 is what.
With the 19, so it's both, right? And I mean, a healer's kit does the same thing. If you have a healer's kit, the mechanics are the same, right? You have a healer's kit, but healer's kits are expensive. Druidcraft is free.
Health check? That's not what it's called.
It's a medicine check.
Medicine check. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been living in Taiwan too long.
To
get a health check every new job.
The mechanics are the same, except for the fact that you have to buy a healer's kit, and Druidcraft is free. I thought that was a fun little thing to do there. It's not exactly free, but it's it's a cantrip. It's basically free. Oh. That's all. And then he goes into it, and then he does that. Then action surges, and then shield trip, shield bash, shield. Just like this fucking little halfling that Liam is playing is just a. You're right. Like
big
chef's
fan.
kiss on this.
Big fan.
Huge fan. Love it.
Yeah.
Love the way he's playing it. It's wonderful.
All right, I'm gonna yes end that real quick. Do you think that they're still waiting for their like marquee fucking shop owner or something like that? Do you think that they're actually sitting there waiting for some new character that Matthew hasn't done yet, or do you think that they're like, you know what, maybe give Matthew a break?
Yeah, like a Gilmore or a Pumat Soul sort of a thing. Is that what you're thinking?
And then there was Victor,
one? Yeah,
then,
Victor, of course. Yeah.
I guess at this point they have the captain of the ship, who's based on someone that they know or something like that. I don't know.
The Timothy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Hey.
Mark was the roommate.
Do you think they're still waiting for somebody like that?
Of course they are.
I mean, fans are for sure. They're waiting for a Puma. They're waiting for a Gilmore.
Now, whether or not Matt actually gives them one, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he had we got the Prism Emporium one, which that was the one that
they had fucked up. I always say it wrong, but I say it like Moira.
Yep.
She was like cool or whatever, interesting. I like seeing her in the game.
Yeah.
But totally. It wasn't as iconic,
No.
Like
I don't think
the moment Pumat comes in, like, oh hey,
the Canadian from Chicago or wherever the fuck he's from.
You're just a happy bunch of folks, aren't you?
Oh, you're just an excitable one.
Right from fucking Surrey.
Yeah. Well, sure.
BC.
Sure. Hey, our bass playing buddy is from Surrey, eh?
Really?
Oh yeah, he is.
That's right across the border. That's right where I went to college.
Oh yeah. I bug him about it all the time.
We can see the border from my window. Welcome everybody. Jeez, did you bring some Canadian dollars?
All right. I think
that clears up my page, man.
Yeah, I got a couple more tiny little things, but it's all good. It's all good.
Nothing wrong with bringing those along. I mean, now that I am aware of the term evergreen questions or evergreen points, I've got a couple of those still from previous episodes that I can still bring up because they haven't been resolved yet. I also, which is interesting to me at least, I went back because I was like, oh, I've got tons of points that we never talked about. I went back and looked at those. I'm like, oh, those have been resolved.
Right.
Just cross them out from the old pages.
Right.
That also happens.
Nice. It does,
which is pretty cool,
Yeah, I'm thinking I think overall it's weird, I have this nagging feeling in my head that something happened that we don't know about and probably never will know about. The timing is weird. They bring the guest Erica Ishii in right before EXU Calamity starts.
I didn't expect it.
Yeah, it's weird because you're going on a 4-week break, except they're not because these are pre-recorded, which means they could conceivably already have the next 2 or 3 in the bag with her. So
and they might.
I have this feeling that they brought her in right now because of timing, because there's something else going on outside of Critical Role. They're like, we want Erika Ishii in, but she can only do these days. And because of other conflicting schedules with other, Erica's on
like
Dimension
my
20.
agent says this
and
then has to happen.
Exactly. That
Like kind of bullshit like that? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
That'd
be
prior commitments, man.
Awkward.
What would it be? She voices a ton of characters in other video games and shows and stuff. So,
yeah. To get your spot on Critical Role, I mean, that's going to help your career like a motherfucker,
Yeah, maybe, except for she's the one that discovered them. So, you got to remember that, right? She's OG. She's the one
that she would be the person to be like, you owe me one.
No, she would never do that. But
she seems way too kind-hearted for that.
She is the one. She was the creative director for Geek and Sundry, and she went to their home game and said, "Hey, why don't you guys come and play this in front of the cameras?"
No, that was Felicia Day.
Oh, was that Felicia Day?
That was Felicia Day. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm mixing up people.
But Erika Ishii was definitely a Geek and Sundry.
Yeah.
I wonder if I don't know which one is which. I don't know which one had which title, but I know that Felicia Day was the one that told them.
It was Felicia Day that did it.
But Erika Ishii was hugely involved with Geek and Sundry.
Oh,
hugely.
big time. I think she still is.
Like one of the mains.
Yes.
Probably a founder,
You're right.
But I don't know.
You're right. It was Felicia Day that did that. I got them mixed up there. Apologies, ladies. I'm sorry.
I'm sure they're watching.
Somebody important did something for them to give them their break. How about that?
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Ishii.
I love them both. I think she's incredible. I think Felicia Day is incredible. I think they both are amazing.
Yeah, see this guy saving his fucking ass right now.
Hey, come on now. Genuinely. That's how great I think Erika Ishii is. She's as good as Felicia Day.
You know it's genuine when he says genuine.
Genuine.
And then looks at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
He could be looking at me. Who knows?
All right. Hey, I got to take this dog for a walk.
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be a time constraint from now.
I can hear the rain. I'm wearing cans and I can still hear the rain outside. That's how hard it's raining out there.
Oh God, dude, I do love rain like that. The only part I don't like is I can't ride a bike home.
I got look at that. Look at that face.
Oh
look
man,
at that
you
face.
got to take her out into this. Do you have like a big ass umbrella?
Gosh, she won't go out in the rain.
She knows
refuses. Yeah. Hey, come here. Come on up.
Get on up there, girl.
Good girl.
Oh, lazy.
Say hi.
Hi, lazy.
Say hi.
Hi, sweetie. Oh, dude, I gotta come and visit, man.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
for you. Fuck you. I miss her.
Look at this little sand tiger.
All right. You want to call it, bud?
Yeah, let's call it.
All right, let's call it. If there's nothing else, then all right. Hey, everybody, don't forget to love each other. And for fuck's sake, is it finally Friday? This Friday? Ooh, I can't fucking wait. You bet your ass we're going to be here on Tuesday.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Is it finally Friday? Peace, y'all.
Age of Arcanum.
Oh, yeah. Get involved. All right. Yeah, I skipped all that shit. Yeah, get in touch and all that shit. Who cares?
Oh, yeah,
hey,
right. Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Take care.
Peace.
Peace, Ben.